welcome to the Cabinet of Science and Fiction.
Great to be here.
Today we're embarking on a deep dive into the mind and, really, the universe of Isaac Asimov, a true giant of science fiction.
Absolutely. I mean, his impact, it's just immense, hard to overstate, really. He wasn't just writing adventure stories, he was genuinely building foundational ideas.
Yeah, ideas that still echo today.
Right.
Think about it, he basically coined the term robotics, gave it a name.
Right, and predicted so much tech that seemed, well, pure fantasy then. Driverless cars, video calls, stuff we take for granted now.
It's almost uncanny. And beyond the fiction, he was this amazing science popularizer, too, making complex stuff accessible.
He really was. But today, we're zoning in on perhaps his most epic creation, right? The Foundation trilogy.
Definitely. The big one.
A truly monumental work. The Foundation trilogy isn't just, a few books. It's this vast, sweeping saga. It tackles the huge questions, the rise and fall of civilizations, collapse, rebirth, all on a galactic scale.
It set a new bar for ambition in sci-fi, didn't it?
It really did. Hard science fiction, grounded in reason and science, even on that epic canvas.
Okay, so let's get into the heart of it. The original trilogy kicks off with the galactic empire seemingly at its absolute zenith.
Right. Picture Trantor. It's the capital, but it's more than that. It's an ecumenopolis, a planet that's one massive city, the nerve center of everything.
Of billions, trillions of people, maybe. The ultimate symbol of power and complexity. It looks untouchable.
Exactly. That's the brilliance. It looks stable, powerful. But Asimov shows us beneath that gleaming surface, the rot has already set in. Most people just can't see it yet.
Enter Hari Seldon.
The key figure, yes. A brilliant mathematician. And he develops this revolutionary field, psychohistory.
Now, this isn't fortune-telling for individuals, is it?
No, not at all. It's much bigger. It's a kind of statistical sociology on steroids. It uses complex mathematics to predict the broad movements of huge populations, analyzing economics, social trends, technology beliefs, everything.
So the idea is that while one person is unpredictable,
the actions of billions over long periods follow predictable probabilistic patterns. It's fascinating, that tension between individual free will and these larger, almost deterministic societal forces.
it really makes you think about big data today, doesn't it? How algorithms try to predict group behavior.
It absolutely does. Asimov was way ahead of the curve there.
And Seldon's big prediction, using this powerful tool for the glorious, seemingly eternal galactic empire.
It's grim, utterly grim. He foresees its inevitable collapse. Not just a decline, but a complete fall.
Leading to
a 30,000-year period of barbarism, a galactic dark age. Just imagine that scale of societal regression.
8,000 years, that's almost unimaginable.
Terrifying. But Seldon, being Seldon, the ultimate rationalist, doesn't just diagnose the illness, he proposes a cure. Or at least a way to manage the symptoms.
Right, his grand plan, the Foundation.
Exactly, two of them, established secretly at opposite ends of the galaxy, far from the collapsing center.
So the first Foundation, what's its job?
Think of it as a lifeboat for knowledge. Its primary mission is to compile and safeguard all of humanity's scientific and technical knowledge, the Encyclopedia Galactica.
Like a galactic archive.
Precisely. To preserve the tools needed for civilization to rebuild, to shorten that dark age from 30,000 years down to, hopefully, just 1,000. A huge difference.
A massive undertaking. And the second Foundation, it's more mysterious, isn't it?
Much more so, at least initially. Its existence is barely hinted at. Seldon intended it to be the guardians of the plan itself, masters of mental science, subtly guiding events from the shadows, protecting Psychohistory and ensuring the first Foundation stays on course.
Okay, so the first Foundation gets set up on this remote planet, Terminus, out on the periphery. And things don't exactly go smoothly from the start, do they?
Not at all. They immediately face huge challenges. The empire's crumbling around them, trade routes break down, communication becomes difficult. Nearby planets are falling into barbarism, ruled by petty warlords.
And science itself comes under threat, right?
Yeah.
New religions pop up, rejecting knowledge.
Yes, exactly. They have to deal with the rise of superstition, leaders who see the Foundation's technology as magic or a threat. They lose contact with the galactic core. It's a constant struggle for survival.
These are the Seldon crises, the big tests.
That's right. Moments of extreme danger that Seldon predicted would occur, testing the Foundation's resilience and forcing it to adapt and grow stronger. It's not just about passively holding knowledge. They have to actively use it, often in clever, non-obvious ways, to influence events and start that regeneration process.
Which brings us to the second book, Foundation and Empire. And suddenly, Seldon's carefully calculated plan hits a massive snag.
A universe-sized snag. The mule.
Tell us about the mule. He's not just another warlord.
No, he's something entirely new, something psychohistory couldn't predict. He's a mutant, an individual with powerful mental abilities.
Mental abilities.
He can directly manipulate people's emotions, inspire fanatical loyalty, crush opposition with waves of despair, even subtly control minds. He's a single person who can override the statistical predictions that underpin Seldon's entire plan.
So he's like a black swan event, completely outside the model.
Precisely, a total anomaly. And he starts sweeping through the galaxy, conquering system after system, including worlds controlled by the Foundation itself. He becomes this huge existential threat to the plan.
And he aims to control the Foundation, too.
Absolutely. He sees it as a potential rival, or perhaps a tool for his own ambitions of unifying the galaxy under his mental dominion.
It's interesting, though, the idea that his unification, even if it brings peace, is seen as wrong, unnatural.
Yeah, that's a really key point Asimov makes. The mule imposes unity through force, through mental coercion. It's not the organic, science-led regeneration Seldon envisioned. It's seen as a fragile, unsustainable shortcut that ultimately bypasses the necessary stages of recovery.
So a false dawn, essentially.
You could say that.
Yeah.
Which leads us into the third book of the original trilogy, Second Foundation.
Okay, so the mule has seemingly derailed everything. Seldon's plan looks like it might have failed. The future is uncertain.
Very uncertain. The first foundation is reeling, conquered, or deeply compromised. Hope seems lost.
But then, that rumor surfaces again, doesn't it?
Yes. The rumor of the second foundation. Whispered about since the fall of the Empire, but now it takes on urgent importance. Is it real? Where is it? Can it stop the mule?
It becomes the galaxy's last hope, almost mythical.
Exactly. The hidden guardians, the true masters of the plan, the search for its location, understanding its true nature that becomes the driving mystery of the final part of the original trilogy.
And the resolution of that search. Well, it's a cornerstone of classic sci-fi, a fantastic conclusion to that initial arc.
Absolutely. It cements the trilogy's place as required reading for any science fiction fan. Its influence is just undeniable.
Okay, so people are hooked. They want to read this epic. But Asimov wrote more Foundation books later, prequels and sequels. This leads to the big debate. What's the best order to actually read them all in?
Ah, yes, the great reading order debate. It comes up all the time online. Places like Reddit are full of discussions. There's no single right answer, really.
What are the main options people argue about?
Well, the simplest is publication order. You start with the original trilogy, Foundation, Foundation and Empire, Second Foundation, then read the sequels Asimov wrote in the 80s, and finally the prequels he wrote just before he died.
What's the argument for that?
It lets you experience the story as it unfolded for original readers. You get the reveals and surprises as Asimov intended them, like, the nature of the Second Foundation or the mule's impact. Plus, you see Asimov's own writing style evolve over decades.
That makes sense. Avoid spoilers baked into the later books.
Exactly. The prequels, especially Forward the Foundation, delve deep into Hari Seldon's life and the setup of the plan. Reading them first might give away some mysteries or character fates revealed later in the original trilogy or the sequels.
Like the big twist at the end of Second Foundation.
Potentially, yes.
Wow.
Or understanding certain characters' long-term significance before you're supposed to.
What about chronological order then? Reading them according to the timeline within the story.
That's the other main approach. Start with the prequels, Prelude to Foundation, Forward the Foundation, then the original trilogy, then the sequels, Foundation's Edge, Foundation, and Earth.
The appeal there is getting that grand sweep of history, right? Thousands of years flowing seamlessly.
Right. You get the whole story from beginning to end, understanding the setup before diving into the main events. It can feel more like reading a continuous historical narrative.
But the spoiler issue remains.
It does. You lose some of the suspense and the gradual unfolding of Asimov's universe. Some argue the prequels are best appreciated after, the stakes established in the original trilogy.
And then there's the robot series connection. Where does that fit in?
Ah, yes. Asimov eventually linked his robot novels, like Robot, The Caves of Steel, to the Foundation universe. They're set thousands of years before Foundation, but characters and concepts from the robot series become crucially important in the later Foundation sequels.
So do you need to read the robot books first?
Need to. Maybe not strictly for the original trilogy, but if you plan to read the sequels, Foundation's Edge, Foundation, and Earth, reading at least the core robot novels beforehand adds a lot of depth and context. Those later books really bridge the two series.
Did Asimov himself have a suggested order?
He did suggest a chronological order, including the robot novels, for the full experience. However, many longtime fans still advocate for publication order, or sometimes complex hybrid orders, to best preserve the reading experience, especially for newcomers.
So publication order seems like a safe bet for a first-time reader.
Generally, yes. It avoids major spoilers and lets you appreciate the original core story first. Then you can decide if you want to explore the prequels, sequels, and robot connections.
Okay, good advice. Now let's shift gears completely. The Apple TV Plus Foundation show. It's different.
Yes, different is a good word. It's visually spectacular, incredibly ambitious filmmaking, but it is definitely a reinterpretation, perhaps even a reimagining, rather than a straight adaptation.
Adapting Foundation must have been a nightmare. The vast time scales, the focus on big ideas over constant characters.
Absolutely. It's famously difficult material to adapt visually. So much of the drama in the books is intellectual, political, societal, not always easy to translate to screen.
And the showrunner, David Goyer, openly said his approach was to root it in emotion, focus more on character arcs.
Which makes sense for television. Asimov's characters, especially in the original trilogy, can sometimes feel more like vessels for ideas. Goyer needed relatable figures viewers could connect with across seasons, even with the time jumps.
And that led to some pretty significant changes to those characters. Gol Dornick, for example.
Big changes there. Gender swapped from the book's male mathematician, given a completely different backstory, coming from a planet hostile to science, and a central romance plot added.
Very different from the book's established academic arriving on Trantor.
Completely. The show's Gol is younger, more of a chosen one figure, central to the unfolding mystery in a way the book's Gol wasn't after the prologue.
And Selvar Hardin, also gender swapped.
Right. And her role is changed too. In the books, she's the clever, non-violent first mayor of Terminus, known for witty aphorisms.
Violence is the last refuge of the incompetent.
That's the one. The show's Salvor is the warden, much more of an action hero, physically defending the Foundation, with a mysterious connection to the vault.
Definitely a different vibe. Then there's Ido Demerzel.
Also gender swapped. But the huge change is revealing her quite early on to be R. Daniel Oliva.
The ancient robot from the Robot series. That's a connection Asimov only made explicitly very late in his writing career in the sequels and prequels.
Exactly. The show brings that massive reveal right up front, making Demerzel Daniel this constant, millennia-spanning presence advising the emperors. It fundamentally changes the dynamic and merges the Robot Foundation lore much sooner.
We also get totally new characters, like Rach Foss.
Yeah, Hari Seldon's friend, lover, adopted son figure, and ultimately his killer in the show's first season.
Which is a massive departure.
Yep.
Seldon lives to old age in the books, guiding the Foundation via recorded messages.
A huge change. Though, interestingly, the name Rach is the name of Hari's adopted son in the prequel novel for the Foundation, but the circumstances and relationship are entirely different. So they're borrowing names but creating new roles.
And the Emperor. Not just one emperor, but a genetic dynasty.
Right. The Cleon clones. Brother Dawn, Brother Day, Brother Dusk, ruling for centuries. This whole concept is completely original to the show.
A way to have consistent antagonists, maybe? Across the long timeline.
I think so. It allows for recurring actors and character dynamics, exploring themes of identity, stagnation, and power in a way Asimov's constantly changing imperial figures didn't. It's a clever adaptation device, even if it's not from the books.
Then there are the big plot inventions.
Yeah.
The terrorist attack on Trantor's orbital sky bridge, the Star Bridge.
Completely new. Serves as the inciting incident that forces the Empire to reluctantly acknowledge Seldon's predictions, at least partly, and it sets up Hari's exile.
And as we mentioned, Seldon's murder. Again, totally different from his peaceful death in the books.
Creates immediate drama and mystery. Who killed him? Why? How does the plan continue without him physically present beyond the vault recordings?
Even the vault itself is different, isn't it? With its null field, only Selvar can approach it initially.
Yeah, the show gives the vault more mysterious properties and a direct link to Selvar's character arc, which isn't really there in the books, where it's more of a time-locked recording chamber.
And the second crisis, dealing with Anacreon and the other kingdoms. Seems like they blended book events and added new conflicts.
Definitely. The show's version of the conflicts with the Four Kingdoms is much more action-packed and militaristic, involving hostage situations and direct confrontation, merging elements perhaps from later crises in the books, but presenting them in a very different, more dramatic way.
You also mentioned Seldon's wife in the books. His close companion was Doris Venably, who was secretly a robot.
Whereas the show gives him a human wife, Yana, seen in flashbacks. Another change focusing on human emotional connections.
And characters like Belrios, the Imperial General, who fights the Foundation in Foundation and Empire. His storyline seems very different in the show, too.
Very different. In the show, his motivation seems more tied to personal revenge against Empire, and his arc plays out differently against the backdrop of the Cleonic dynasty.
So overall, the show adds a lot more interpersonal drama, consistent characters, action, and emotional focus, sometimes at the expense of the slower, more conceptual, large-scale societal focus of Asimov's original work.
That sums it up pretty well. It's adapting the core concepts, psychohistory, the fall of empire, the foundations, but telling the story through a much more character-driven, visually dramatic lens suitable for modern television.
So thinking about all this, the original books, the later editions, the TV show, what does Asimov's vision mean for us today? How do we engage with it?
Well, the core ideas, I think, are still incredibly potent. The predictability of mass behavior, the fragility of complex civilizations, the crucial role of knowledge and reason. These feel more relevant than ever, don't they?
They really do.
Yeah.
Especially in our age of algorithms, social media predicting trends, political polarization.
Exactly. And it's fascinating to see how the TV show translates those themes. Do the changes, the focus on emotion, the specific character arcs amplify Asimov's points, or do they sometimes shift the meaning? That's something worth pondering as you watch or read.
It definitely gives you a different perspective on the material. Does making it more about individual struggles dilute the grand sweep of psychohistory, or does it make those big ideas more relatable?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? There's no easy answer. Both the books and the show offer valuable, though different, ways to engage with these massive concepts.
Which leads to maybe a final thought for people to mull over.
Yeah.
In our world, increasingly driven by big data and predictive algorithms, how close are we really to developing some kind of real-world psychohistory?
Ooh, that's a chilling thought.
And if we could, what would the ethical implications even be? Could you use it for good, like Seldon tried? Or would the potential for manipulation and control be just too great?
A very Asimovian question to end on. The power and the peril of knowledge.
Indeed. Well, that's all the time we have for this deep dive into Foundation.
It's been a fantastic discussion, so much to unpack there.
Thanks for listening.
Until next episode.